Have you ever woken up in the quiet of retirement and asked yourself, now what? Maybe you've done everything right. Worked hard, saved well, raised your family, maybe even traveled a little, but suddenly the pace has slowed. The calendar isn't so full anymore, and while that sounds like freedom to some, to others, it feels like floating in unfamiliar waters. If that's you, I want you to know you're not alone. And this moment in your life is not the end. It's the beginning of something new, something powerful. Welcome to this video. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to walk through 5 truly life-changing questions you can ask yourself after retirement. Questions that can bring clarity, purpose, and maybe even joy to this new chapter. This isn't about filling time. It's about making this time matter. Let's ease into this together. And I want to start with a question that's deceptively simple, but opens the door to everything else. Have you asked yourself lately, what makes me feel truly alive? Now, I don't mean what used to make you feel alive 20 or 30 years ago. I mean right now, at this point in your life. When do you feel most present, most connected, most like yourself? For some people, it's walking outside before the world wakes up, hearing the birds and feeling the cool air on their skin. For others, it's cooking a favorite family dish and remembering the laughter around the dinner table. It could be solving a crossword puzzle, helping a neighbor, holding a grandchild, or sitting quietly with a good book. There's no right answer, only your answer. You see, so many people enter retirement thinking they need a huge project to stay fulfilled. But often, it's the small things, the quiet rituals, the tiny joys, that bring the deepest meaning. The key is being honest about what those things are for you, not what someone else thinks you should enjoy. You don't have to suddenly love golf or learn Italian unless you want to. This is about finding the rhythm of your life now, not copying someone else's idea of retirement. And once you begin to notice what truly lights you up, you can make more space for it. That small question, what makes me feel alive, can guide your entire day. Now let's talk about another important question. What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? This one can be a little heavier. Retirement has a way of shaking loose old habits, identities, even relationships. Maybe you were the dependable one at work, the fixer, the leader, the one who stayed late and showed up early. But now, without the job, who are you? It's okay to grieve those parts of yourself, but it's also okay to gently let go of roles that no longer serve you. Maybe you've always been the one who plans every family event, keeps the peace, or says yes when you really want to say no. If that's starting to feel more like pressure than pride, it might be time to let go, or at least loosen your grip. Think about this. Is there a belief you're carrying about yourself that feels outdated or untrue now? Maybe it's the idea that slowing down means becoming irrelevant, or that asking for help means you're weak, or that your value came only from how much you could do. These beliefs sneak in quietly, often shaped by decades of responsibility. But they don't have to follow you into this new chapter. You have permission to change, to release old burdens, to rewrite the story you're telling yourself. And that leads us into the third question, one that can unlock an entirely different energy. What legacy do I want to live, starting today? Notice I didn't say leave, I said live. Because legacy isn't just about what happens after we're gone. It's about the imprint we make every single day. You might think legacy means something grand, buildings with your name on them, money and foundations, but it's really about the small ways we show up. It could be the way you speak kindness into your family, or how you mentor a younger neighbor who reminds you of your younger self. It might be choosing to share your stories, the ones no one's heard yet, the ones that teach, comfort, and connect. Even your attitude is a legacy. Do you bring peace into a room? Do you laugh easily, listen fully, offer grace? These are legacies, and they ripple far wider than we ever realize. So as you think about that question, what legacy do I want to live? Don't let it overwhelm you. Let it invite you. Let it pull you toward the kind of person you want to be now, not just remembered for later. There's a powerful truth here. You are still becoming. Yes, even after 60, after retirement, after the world seems to expect less from you, you are still growing, evolving, unfolding. This season is not a conclusion. It's a quieter, richer chapter where the questions matter more than the answers. And the beauty of asking these kinds of questions is that they don't demand perfection. They just ask you to be honest with yourself and maybe with those around you. So if you've been feeling a little uncertain, maybe even a little lost since retirement, let that be okay. Let it be the signal, not that something's wrong, but that something new is trying to begin. Because the moment we start asking the right questions, the answers start to rise. And with them, a deeper kind of peace. Now that we've opened the door with those first few questions, let's gently step through. This next one is something that catches many people off guard, especially in retirement. Who am I now that the roles have changed? It's a subtle shift, but one that often hits you when you least expect it. Maybe you're sitting at the breakfast table with no emails to check, no alarm to beat, no deadlines pressing in. And for the first time in decades, you have space. And that space, while peaceful at first, can quickly start to feel unfamiliar. You see, many of us spend years defining ourselves by what we do. A career, parenting, being a caregiver, a community leader, a spouse. And while those roles are meaningful, they're not the whole of who you are. When they shift or fade, it's easy to feel like the ground beneath you is a little less steady. So ask yourself, with curiosity, not criticism, who am I now? Not what do others expect from me, not what used to be true. But right now, in this quieter chapter, who am I becoming? You might surprise yourself. Maybe you're someone who's always been strong for everyone else, and now you're learning what it means to receive support. Maybe you're discovering creativity you never had time for. Or maybe you're realizing that some of the titles you wore proudly didn't leave enough room for the softer, gentler parts of you. This is your chance to meet yourself again. Not as a worker, or a parent, or a provider, but as a full human being, with your own needs, your own pace, your own story to continue writing. And with that question comes another one, just as important. Who do I still want to grow closer to? Retirement can be a wake-up call when it comes to relationships. Some friendships fade when you're no longer in the same routines. Family dynamics may shift now that your schedule is freer, or more open to disappointment. Even your relationship with your partner, if you have one, might change now that you're spending more time together than ever before. So it's worth asking, who still makes your heart feel light? Who listens when you speak, not just hears you? Who do you want to know better, even now? Because growth in relationships doesn't stop after a certain age. In fact, some of the deepest, most honest connections happen when the noise of achievement falls away. Maybe there's a grandchild you want to bond with on a deeper level, not just as their grandparent, but as someone who truly sees them. Maybe there's a friend you haven't called in years who used to understand you in a way few people did. Or maybe there's someone new, at the gym, in a book club, at your place of worship, who brings out a part of you that's been quietly waiting to surface. Give yourself permission to nurture those relationships. Send the first text, make the phone call, write the card. Even if it feels vulnerable, especially if it does. And while you're thinking about connection, here's one last question for today. One that's both freeing and grounding. What does enough look like for me? This one can take a lifetime to answer. But the beauty of retirement is that it invites you to redefine it. When you're no longer chasing promotions, bigger homes, or packed calendars, you get to decide what actually feels like enough. Enough money, enough activity, enough company, enough rest. Maybe you've already got more than enough and haven't realized it because you're still living in the momentum of scarcity, of always reaching. Or maybe you're feeling the opposite, like something is missing, but you're not sure what. Either way, asking the question gives you a chance to step off the treadmill and take a breath. What does enough look like to you, today, this year, in this season? Maybe it's two close friends who really understand you. Maybe it's a simple routine that starts with coffee and ends with gratitude. Maybe it's learning to enjoy the calm after decades of chaos. You get to decide. And that's the power of this chapter. It's not just about reflecting on the life you've lived. It's about actively shaping what comes next. With intention, with self-compassion, and with the quiet courage it takes to keep growing when the world has stopped expecting it from you. You are not finished. You are not fading. You are unfolding. Slowly, deeply, and on your own terms. The questions don't end here, but maybe now you can sit with them differently. Not as demands for answers, but as gentle invitations to listen inward. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do at this stage in life is to pause, to ask, and to truly hear yourself. And now we come to the heart of this journey. You've asked yourself about identity, relationships, and what enough really means. These questions stir the soul, but there's one more that brings it all together, and it's this. What legacy do I want to leave starting today? Legacy is a word that can feel heavy, even intimidating. We often think of it as something grand, wills, inheritance, foundations, big family histories. But in truth, your legacy is built in much quieter ways. In the words you choose, the way you show up, the habits you leave behind for others to notice and follow. You don't have to be wealthy, famous, or even especially outgoing to leave a beautiful mark on the world. Maybe your legacy is how you always made people feel seen. Maybe it's the way you passed down recipes that kept family stories alive. Maybe it's that you dared to forgive, to grow, or to be kind when it would have been easier not to. So ask yourself, what do I want the people I care about to remember most about me? Not in a sad, final way, but in a way that makes you think about how each day still matters, that your presence, your voice, your choices, they echo. Maybe it's time to write that letter to your daughter, the one you've been holding in your mind for years. Maybe you want to teach your grandson how to plant tomatoes the way your father once showed you. Maybe your legacy is laughter, and you decide to start recording stories from your life, not for social media, but just to be remembered. There is no small legacy. Even a smile, when shared consistently, can change the way someone feels about the world. And let's not forget, part of building a legacy is also releasing what no longer needs to be carried. Grudges, guilt, regrets. Ask yourself, what am I ready to let go of for good? This question can feel emotional, because sometimes we've held on so tightly to a hurt that it became part of our identity. But now, at this stage, maybe you no longer want to be known by that scar. Maybe you want to step into peace, not as a reward, but as a birthright. It's okay to say, that happened, but it doesn't own me. It's okay to forgive, even if you're the only one who knows you did it. And it's absolutely okay to say, I've done my best, I'm still learning, and I get to start again. Letting go isn't about pretending something never happened. It's about no longer letting it have the final say in your story. So think about it. What can you lay down today, not because it doesn't matter, but because you matter more? Now let's wrap this up by circling back to the beginning. All of these questions. Who am I? Who do I want to connect with? What's enough? What's my legacy? What am I ready to let go of? Aren't meant to overwhelm you. They're meant to wake you up in the gentlest way. Retirement isn't an ending. It's a rare invitation. To live more deliberately, to love more deeply, and to become more fully yourself than you've ever had the time or the permission to be. You don't have to rush to answer every question today. Sometimes, just holding the question is enough. Sitting with it, letting it whisper to you when you're drinking your morning coffee, or walking through the park or watching the sun drop low in the sky. These aren't just reflections for the mind, they're nourishment for the soul. And the beauty of this time in your life is that you finally get to be the author of your next chapter, with fewer distractions, fewer expectations, and more wisdom than ever before. So as we close this video, I just want to remind you, your journey still matters. Your voice still matters. You still matter. Not because of what you've done, but simply because of who you are. Still growing, still unfolding, still here. If something in this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Your words could encourage someone else who's walking a similar path. And if you found this helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, because no one should have to figure out this season of life alone. Here's to curiosity, to growth, to peace, and to living your best life at any age. You're not finished. You're just getting started.